setting up your equipment to optimize studio space and creativity. One thing that can affect your creativity and your production is your environment. Your studio should have the vibe of your personality. You want it to look like you, smell like you. You want it to have the atmosphere. When people come in, at least when you go in, because you're going to be in there most of the time, you want it to be you. You want it to represent you. Now, at the same time, there are certain rules every effective music producers go by when setting up their studio. And here they are. Here are some of the rules. Number 1, neatness. Number 2, being organized. Number 3, having your equipment to where you can easily get to it and not have wires and cords on the ground where people, they have to step over them or they may step on them and damage your equipment. You don't want a junky studio. There's something about knowing where everything is when you're in the creative state of mind. You're able to create freely and not have to worry about everything else that may be a distraction. Something about having that mindset, being neat. Let's talk about your setup. If you look at the average studio and you see the studio monitors, the back of the studio monitors is facing the wall. Now, this doesn't always have to be, but it's the best way to set up your studio. The studio monitors should be, in my opinion, the back of them should be facing the wall. And the studio monitors should be ear level, because when the sound is coming, you want your left ear to hear what's coming directly from that speaker on that side, on your left side, and your right, so you can hear everything equally. Of course, your MIDI controller and your MPC will be at hand's reach. You don't want to be reaching all over the place for that, because you're going to be using that most of the time. Your computer monitor will be right in front of you for the most part. I would recommend having your desktop set up the furthest distance from your door and entrance and exit, so it's not in a high traffic area. You want to keep that away from everything, somewhere where people are not going to be walking all the time. Now, this is important but simple, okay? Keep all liquids away from your equipment. Shouldn't have to say it, but it's something we don't always think about. Some studios won't even let people come in with a drink. Other studios will allow you to have a drink, but in certain areas. It's totally up to you. I don't have a lot of people in my studio at one time, so I will allow the artist to bring in a bottle of water or a container, you can close. But it has to be placed on the ground or not on a desk where someone can spill it on something. That's the last thing you want. You purchase this equipment, you want to protect it from getting damaged. So the last thing I say about setting up your studio is to invest in some acoustics. Acoustics are the square form phone boxes you see in the studio on the wall, and they keep the sound nice and tight. That's basically what they do, without going too deep into it. You can put up a bass trap. Those are the acoustics that are kind of triangular shape and they go in the corner. You can put those in the corners, and the flat acoustic panels on the wall, right? You can see some in the studio behind me. I have a bass trap and I have a flat panel back there as well, and the booth is to my right, and I have acoustics all in there, all around, just to keep the vocals nice and tight. But you can put them in your studio as well, so when you're playing your beats, everything's not jumping around. When you're listening to your music, it makes a great difference when the frequencies are not bouncing around on the wall. This gives you a true sound of your music and beats when you're producing and listening to music in the studio. It really helps out. You don't want to leave that out. They're not expensive. You can go to Amazon, somewhere like that, check them out, see which ones you would like to invest in, and they have all kind of colors. They have black, red, blue. You fix them up, fix your studio the way that you would want it to look like. Fix it up the way you want. I would also suggest you investing in a nice size rug if you don't have carpet in your studio. This will also stop the sounds and frequencies from bouncing all around the studio. Having an echo in the studio is the last thing you want when recording vocals and listening to your music. But definitely have fun with it. Make the studio yours. This is your sanctuary, your spot where you create and make dope music.